First thing we need to do is get some data for our dashboard. So as you can see, we're sitting here at the home page for SAC. So let's navigate over to the modeler. Click on the model, create a new model. We will start with data. I provide the data for this tutorial on my website. I've included the link below for you to make a copy of it to your local machine. You will create your own name. In this case, I just called it invoice dataset. It auto detects the delimiter, and it auto detects use the first row as column headers. All right, as you can see, the modeler has gone through each column and assigned a default data type. Did a good job for most of them. However, we do have three that we need to convert over to a dimension: invoice number, invoice line number, and inventory number. So let's go ahead and convert that to a dimension. Convert the next one. And the last one. Good. All right. So this looks good, and it's plenty good for us to write our dashboard. Let's go ahead and save this guy. Once again, you will create your own name when you copy the data from my website. Cool. As you can see, model is saved successfully. A version dimension was added automatically. Fantastic. We can go ahead and build ourselves a dashboard. Now that we've created our data set using the modeler, let's navigate over to the home page first. There we are. And now let's navigate to the Stories tab here. And to create a new dashboard, or as they call it in SAC, a story, we just go ahead and click on Canvas. We will use the optimized version. And we'll create it. And here is our developer screen. First thing we need to do is go ahead and import or link up this dashboard with the data set we just created in the modeler. So we go here, click on the plus, go to the model, and we navigate right here to our select data set or model through the files. Model successfully added to story. Great. Okay, now that we have some data, let's go ahead and put some widgets on this dashboard. I always like to start with the detailed data. Helps me visualize what I'd like the end user to see on the dashboard. Once again, I'd like to reiterate how detailed data is very important for accounting business-based dashboards. To me, a dashboard is nothing more than a good old-fashioned crystal report that has a nice, pretty picture put on it with filters and widgets and graphs and all kinds of neat stuff to help the SME navigate through all the data. You include detailed data with everything you do, and every accountant will love you. All right, let's go ahead and put a table on here. Put that up in the middle here so we can see it. First thing I like to do is get rid of this version number. It's just annoying. Let's go ahead and add all our measures for this report. Easy click on there. Some nice looking columns. Let's make this bigger. Now let's go add some dimensions. I like to lead with invoice date or any date. The date is so common in the accounting world. With that, so since this dashboard is invoice based, we'll go ahead and give it an invoice number, invoice line number. Let's go ahead and give it the item name. Let's give it the inventory number, the item category, count name, salesperson name, salesperson, region. I like to let the end users pick the order in which the columns appear. It gives them some kind of input and control over what they see. Makes them feel like they're involved, which is very important. So when you deliver a dashboard, it is exactly what they want it to be. I'd like to point out to you that in this version of SAC, it automatically creates a hierarchy for date fields. That is why when you see it, it has the little stair steps on it. I like this feature right here, especially if you're working with GL type dashboards, which are month based. So then you can use this based on the actual detailed date and group it by month and filter by month and year. But for this example, I don't like it. So let's go ahead and make it a regular date. Change this. See how it right now has the stair steps right here, and that means it's a hierarchy, and a hierarchy has been assigned to the invoice date. So instead of using a hierarchy, let's go ahead and just make it flat. See, that looks much better for an accounting report. It looks nice. All right, now we need to clean this thing up and make it much more presentable. So first thing let's do is add some color to this thing. Oops, go over here, go down here, do some background. Let's try with some blue. That's a little dark. Let's lighten that up here. Good. All right, let's go ahead and put a border on this guy. All borders, we'll just let it default at that. And the last thing we need to do for this guy is to freeze this upper row. Get the colors on there, right? There. And then you go here, and we freeze upper row. So now, we go down through it, upper row stays frozen. That looks nice. Let's go ahead and save this guy, and then we'll take a look at it in the view mode. We just call this invoice dashboard. Copy the comment, save it. And then let's go ahead and view it. Good. So, nice color. Invoices headings are fixed. Good. All right. Now we need to enlarge the screen so that we can put some filters and graphs on there. One of the features I like about SAC, as opposed to other dashboard generators on the market, SAC will allow you to almost endlessly increase the size of your page down and over. So let's go ahead and bring this down a little bit here. Let's just do it like that. Get ourselves some more. Enough room? Yeah, that looks like enough room. All right, let's go ahead and put a chart on this bad boy. Let's readjust that up here. That bit smaller. Let's go ahead and make this one a pie chart. Now there's another feature in SAC that I like very much, and it's called the measure input control. We will put a measure input control on we will put a measure input control on this graph, and we will also put a dimension input control on this graph. And then we will share it with the next graph that we make. So now you'll see here. So then let's move this down here. Let's go back and add our dimension. So now we will make a dimension control. Now we're not going to want to change the graph based on all these fields. However, let's do the basics of account name. Let's do item category, item name, salesperson name, salesperson region. Those are pretty standard ones. You're not going to need to drill down to these in the graph, and the date we will handle with a filter. I'll show you that shortly. All right, so get yourself a graph here. So how this works is you say, show me all the order quantities. Show me by sales, or better, sales region. That is a very nice feature. Good. We have a pie graph, and we have two input controls, one for the measures and one for the dimensions. Now let's go ahead, change the name of this input measure control to select measure. And then we change this one to select dimension. Excellent. Now let's put another graph on this dashboard to kind of even it out and demonstrate to you the neat feature of these input measures. So go back to view our controls. There we go. And get the chart over here. It's got a little smaller. Let's turn this one into let's go ahead and keep it in the bar line. That sounds good. That'll be a nice measure. However, let's flip it on vertical axis. Now, let's go ahead and select the measure we created for this chart over here. Because now these two input controls will be shared across both of these graphs. So that looks good there. And let's go down here and add a input dimension to the select dimension. So now, let's go ahead and save this real quick. See, right now we have it select measure order quantity. So you get the quantity numbers right here, as well as here. And we have it on salesperson region, so that you get the salesperson regions here, and then broken down here as well. So then you can change to total price. There's total price by region. spell sales reason, or you can do it by salesperson. That looks very nice. That's a nice dashboard. Keeping with my rules of all good accounting-based dashboards must have detailed data, the graph, and a filter, preferably a date filter. We need to add that filter to this dashboard and a title. So one of the features I really like about SAC is the ability to stretch the screen almost limitlessly. So let's go ahead and get ourselves some more room up top here. Let's drop this stuff down quite a bit. We'll just leave it there for the time being because we're going to work on some cosmetics at the end. Let's go ahead and save that. And put ourselves the input control on the dimension. Voice date. I prefer the range. I'd like to change it to fixed, which is the default by month. You can leave it as a drop down, which looks nice, especially if you have a lot of widgets on the screen. In this case, pretty simple, and always looks nice with the date range across the top. Very good for presentation purposes. So let's go ahead and save that guy. And let's look at it in the viewer. Cool. So as you see here, we change our measures, change both the graph, we can change our dimensions, we can change date range. One problem though with this graph or this dashboard is when you filter on the graphs, it should change the data down here to reflect the filtering. Out of the gate, SAC does not do that automatically for you. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that. So go back over to here, go to our graph, click on the three dots, go to the link analysis and the settings. And you want to, here you can control, because in some cases you do want to just control a tiny portion, a subset of the graphs or data. But in this case, we want all these widgets to control everything on the screen. So let's go ahead and all widgets on the page. Let's select filter on data point. So then you get, see how that all filters as well. Now let's go over here, do the same thing. As well. Let's save that. Let's go ahead and view this guy. Good. So let's click on there. Get the filter for Jimmy J.J. Walker and all his sales. Put that thing back. Change the date range. That automatically filters everything. Good. All right, this dashboard needs a few more things. I'm going to have to put a title up here. And let's frame this thing up a little bit and make it much prettier to look at for the end user. Let's go back over to the edit window. Now let's add the title. Put that up there. Call this guy invoice dashboard. Let's go ahead and make this bigger. So, oops, go to font. Let's change the size to a much bigger. Let's get that thing a lot bigger. There we go. We can also center this guy there. Let's put some top and bottom border on this thing. There. Looks good. A little bit thicker. Let's save it. Now let's frame this up some so it looks a lot nicer. So one of the nice features is, go back and put this guy over here. Let's put ourselves a border around the graphs. That'll make a much better presentation to the end users. Let me show you how you do that. So we go up here, containers, others, there we go, shapes. Let's do square. Now don't be scared because here's the trick to that guy. Fill color, that. Let's go ahead and put a border around it. And let's drag this thing over here. There we go. Now, another thing we need to do is to push. Right now, you can't click on these, see? Because we put this big block on top of it and just made the background transparent. So what we need to do is push this frame block here to the back. So we go over here to the Stylings tab and send to back, right like that. So then when we click on it, as you can see, you can get it to filter. You can touch each one of these guys, see? So let me go ahead and save this. I think we should put a frame around this guy as well. There we go. Save it. Let's view it. Excellent. So we can change the date. We can change, select on the pie, our graphs, which will filter the entire dashboard. Let's put that back up here. We can change the measures, the dimensions. Very nice. Probably center it up and stuff if you felt like it, but I believe this, I proclaim this dashboard complete and ready to be distributed out into production. So there you go. Step-by-step how to develop this exact quality invoice dashboard using SAP SAC. Enjoy. Hi, I'm Dave Goebel. Thank you for watching my training video. If you learned something, please hit the like button. Questions and comments are always welcome. Enjoy.